So the last of the five operations I wanted to teach you, one that you've never dealt with before, or you have, but you never knew that you were dealing with it. Composition, or composite functions. And it's all basically based on this idea, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You guys have heard that saying before? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's, like, if you keep that in mind, that saying, today should make a lot of sense, I hope. Okay? One man's trash is another man's treasure. And that is true for, people who reduce the amount of waste. But it's also very true for this last section and how to calculate these new functions. Okay? So let's start off with what a composite function is. So let's say I had two functions, f and g. So f was 4x and g was x plus 6. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new function called h that's created using this notation. And this is something you haven't seen before. Okay? F open dot g of x. This is different than f small closed dot g of x. This notation right here means multiply f of x and g of x. Right? That was last day's stuff. But when you have an open dot, like you do right here, okay, you can see it's an open dot. That's a very important difference. Okay? The way you say that is you say f of g of x, not f times g of x. Okay? So this right here means f of g of x, or g is being composed inside of f. Okay? So I'll show you how this works. Basically what we do is, that's not going to work. If I want to rewrite that in a little more understandable terms, this would be equal to f of g of x. Okay? And what this really means is you take the function f of x, this outside function here, and you replace any x's in the function with the function itself, g of x. Okay, so I'll show you how that looks. If I have the function f of x, so that's 4x, f of g of x would mean wherever I see x in my previous function, so right here, I replace that with the function g of x, in this case x plus 6. Okay, so I'll make that replacement in red so you can see what happened. So it would be 4 times, and I'm replacing x with g of x, so x plus 6, that's g of x, and then that's it. Okay, so g is being composed inside of f. Alright, so once again, this open dot means f of g of x, or g is being inserted inside of f. And to write the equation for that, wherever you see x in the outside function here, you replace it with g of x. Follow? Okay, and then you simplify. So this would be just 4x plus 24. So that's h of x. Okay, so there's our composition function. You with me? Okay, so what does this do? Well, I'm going to use this diagram here to kind of show you what happens. Essentially what happens is when you put in an x value, okay, so we plop in an x value, we would evaluate g of x first. So that would be x plus 6. So we just add 6 to whatever that number is. And then out would pop that number. Okay, and then that value, the y value of g, becomes the x value of f. And then out pops f of g of x. Okay, so this is kind of a diagram of what happens. You take an x value, you put it into g, and evaluates. You get a y value. That becomes the x value of the outer function f. Right? This is where the whole one man's trash is another man's treasure idea comes in. Right? G of x's output, or trash if you want to say it that way, becomes f's input.